Hi, my name is Yin Gao, and welcome to Dr. Gao's classroom. I'm a professional philosopher, and I love classical Chinese poetry. Of course, I also have a passion for classical Chinese philosophy. I have been teaching and translating classical Chinese philosophies for many years, and poetry for the last few years. I'd love to share my knowledge on the subjects with you. Your enjoyment is my command. I have been talking about Zhuangzi's philosophy for a little while under the rubric of how to enjoy life like a Taoist master. And I mentioned a few times the role played by music. In my third video on Zhuangzi's philosophy, I introduced the concept of 智人, or the perfectly adapted man who is able to align himself with the cosmic rhythm. I also talked about the concept of 无己, or losing oneself in the cosmic rhythm. In my last video on Zhuangzi's philosophy, I talked about how to nurture life and argued that the key of nurturing life, according to Zhuangzi, is to follow 天理, or the heavenly pattern. In other words, the rhythmic changes of heaven and earth as expressed in the musical performance of rituals such as 山林之舞 or the dance of Mulberry Forest. In these two videos, I talked about Zhuangzi's views that adapting to the changes is the key to preserve one's life, or even thrive in this changing world and find room to be oneself, to be creative, and ultimately to live a happy and fulfilled life. In other words, Zhuangzi believes that the world is fundamentally musical. There is a rhythm in the changes that we humans can learn to get into step with, or even dance to it. I also talk about Zhuangzi's view about this cosmic music or the heavenly piping that sets the rhythm for the cosmic patterns. So today, I'm going to explain what is this cosmic music or cosmic rhythm. I would first present an overview of the conceptions of musical cosmology among different schools. Then I shall talk about the different manifestation of this cosmic rhythm. I have enough textual evidences from the texts of different philosophical schools to believe that the cosmos is fundamentally musical is a philosophical premise shared by many philosophical schools in ancient China, including Daojia or the Taoist, Rujia or the Confucianist, Fajia or the Legalist, and Yin-yang Jia or the Yin-yang school, except Mojia or the Maoist. I might make a video about the Maoist views on music and other subject matters in the future. Since there is too many content to cover in one video, I'm going to make 4 videos about this topic. The first video presents a brief account of the views of Legalists on music as presented in its text in the title of Guanzi or Master Guan. In the second video, I shall set another legalist text, 吕氏春秋, or Master Li's Chronicle, which articulated the views presented in Master Guan in a much detailed and systematic manner. Then I shall talk about Zhuangzi's view. The last video is about the view on music by Confucian tradition, which integrated many views from the Taoist, the Legalist, and the school of Yin-yang presented in Confucius' commentary on Yi Jing, or the Book of Change, and Li Ji, or the Record of Right. There is no particular reason how I organized the order to present the views of different schools. It is clear from this text there were a lot of borrowing from each other by the time of Warring State period between the 5th to the 3rd century BCE. So I'm going to go through them one by one. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos on classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, or medical literature. If you like the content of these videos, please click the like button and subscribe my channel. I also offer one-to-one online lessons on this subject. So if you would like to read the original text with me, please contact me. Here's my email address. Before we even have the name of the Taoism, there was already the belief of a musical cosmos among the different philosophical schools, as I mentioned earlier. The major philosophical schools such as Confucianism, Taoism, Legalism believed that there is a rhythm to the changes in cosmos, and human activity should be organized according to this rhythm. This view was first presented in the legalist text Guan or Master Guan. The text is named after a politician named Guan, who was active around the first half of 7th century BCE. Guan was recommended to the Duke of Qi state by his friend and was appointed as the deputy premier of Qi in 685 BCE. With Guanzhong's help, the Duke of Qi, Jiang Xiaobai, meaning Jiang the Little White. What a funny name! It sounds like a nickname for a little rabbit or a kitten in Chinese. But anyway, the Duke of Qi, Jiang Xiaobai, expanded the territory and made his kingdom the strongest among the 5 strong states during the spring and autumn period. The Qi state was located in today's Shandong province, as shown in this map. Under the reign of Duke Little White, the Qi state not only became militarily powerful, but also became the culture center during the following few centuries, attracting all sorts of talents to its capital. By the 4th century BCE, the state of Qi had established a state-sponsored academy, 稷下学宫, the academy by the Millet Gate. This is probably the earliest academy in the world. In this academy, scholars could exchange their ideas freely and held a debate tournament. The text Guanzi, or the Master Guan, was compiled by the scholars from 稷下学宫, the academy by the Millet Gate. The thoughts presented in this text summarized, articulated, and expanded on the original thoughts and policies advocated and implemented by Master Guan, hence named after him. The text Guanzi is huge, consisting of 86 chapters, and 76 chapters survive today. I might have to make another video about the text, but today I'm going to focus only on the thoughts about cosmic rhythm. According to Guanzi, the cosmic rhythm is expressed in the seasonal changes. National policies should adapt to these changes and implemented different policies during different seasons. If the ruler implemented the wrong policy, disasters of all kinds would follow. Here is a quote from chapter 40 in the title of 世纪, or the 4 seasons. 管子曰：令有时，不知四时，乃是国之基；不知五谷之故，国家乃禄。Guan refers to Guanzhong. 子 means master. For instance, 孔子 is how we address Confucius in Chinese, meaning Master Kong. 曰 means said. 令 means order. 有 means there is. 时 means timing. The concept of time in classical Chinese philosophy differs significantly from how we understand time in the West. Time is not the linear progress from past to future. There is no concept of absolute time in Chinese philosophy. There is only cyclical progresses that go through the 5 phases of birth, growth, mature, decline, and death. 识 is the understanding and grasping of which phase a process is at, and act according to the phase in a timely manner. For instance, Confucius was recorded saying 使民以时, meaning drafting labor for public work in a timely manner. That is, do not draft the labor at spring or autumn when people are busy with planting or harvesting crops. 不 means not, 知 means understand, 是 means for, 时 means timing, 乃 means then, 失 means lose, 国 means state, 知 means of something, 基 means basis, 不 again means not, 知 means understand, 五 means 5, 谷 means grain, 知 again means of something, 故 literally means reason, but here it refers to how the grain grows, so I translated it as how. 国 means state, 家 means family. 国家 refers to the collection of families made up a state, so I translated it as state. 乃 means then again. 路 literally means road or path, but it is also used as a verb meaning become a road or a path. When a walled state becomes a road or a path for other states, as in the case during the Warring State period in the 5th to the 3rd century in China, it means that the state in question was already collapsed. So the term 路 also means collapse of a state. So I just translated it as collapse. So the 3 lines read, Master Guan said, when issuing orders, there is a proper timing. If the ruler does not understand the timing of the 4 seasons, he would lose the basis of his state. If he does not understand how the 5 grains grow during the 4 seasons, his state will collapse. 是故阴阳者，天地之大力；是时者，阴阳之大精也。是 means this, 故 means reason. 是故 means because of this or hence, so I translate it as therefore. Yin literally refers to the shadowy side of a mountain, while yang refers to the sunny side of a mountain. However, their meaning were changed very early on to become metaphysical terms by the philosophers by Confucius' time. Yin and yang refer to the 2 opposing and complementing energies constitute all the processes and things in the world according to Chinese cosmology. Yin is the constructive, substantial, and stabilizing energy that gave things their structure and form, while yang energy is the creative, generative, and sometimes destructive energy that initiates and ends a process or a thing. This might be a little bit abstractive. Okay, let me just say that yang energy is like the spicy dish that make you hot and sweat, while the yin energy is like the ice water that cool you down in a hot summer day. If we generalize these 2 concepts, we can assume that yang is strong, hot, creative, and masculine, while yin is resilient, soft, cool, nurturing, and feminine. These are the positive qualities of yin and yang. They also have negative qualities. Yang can be brittle, destructive, hostile, and violent, while yin can be weak, passive, stagnant, and futile. These 2 energies rise and fall along the annual cycle. It is their rise and fall lead to the rise and fall of all processes and things according to Chinese cosmology. So I added the oscillation to the term of yin and yang. Tian means heaven, Di means earth, Zhi means of, Da means great, Li means pattern, Ye is the mark for a full stop, Si means fall, Shi means timing, but here it refers to the timing of the seasons, so I translate it as season. 这 is the mark for a stop. Yin-yang again can be translated as yin-yang oscillation. 知 means of, Da means great. Jing is a variation of Jing, meaning path. Ye is the mark for a full stop again. So the two sentences read, therefore the yin-yang oscillation is the great pattern of heaven and earth. The 4 seasons are the great path of yin-yang oscillation. 行得者是时之和也，行得合于时，则生福，贵则生祸。行 means punishment. 得 means a word. 者 is the mark for a stop. 是 means fall. 时 means season. 之 means of something. 和 means in accordance with. 也 is the mark for a full stop. 行 again means punishment. 得 means a word. 合于 means in accordance with. 时 means season again. 者 means then. 生 is translated as arise. 福 means good fortune. 贵 means against. 者 means then. 生 here is translated as strike. 祸 means disaster. So you might notice that I translate sheng differently in the last 2 lines. Sheng literally means gave birth to. Here it is used as a generic term as gave rise to something. So I interpret the term according to the textual context and translate it into different terms as arise and strike, respectively. So these 3 sentences read, the administration of punishment and award should be in accordance with the 4 seasons. If punishment and award are administered timely, good fortune arises. If they are dealt out against the 4 seasons, disasters strike. This passage makes it very clear that the cosmos, that is, the heaven and earth, change as the yin and yang energies rise and fall. The 4 seasons are the expression of this cosmic rhythm. All the policies, that is, the administration of punishment and award, should be aligned with this cosmic rhythm, that is, the 4 seasons. The following quote is rather long, so please bear with me. But because it is quite important for my analysis, so I need to cite the whole paragraph. This paragraph lists all the tasks to be carried out during the springtime. It is followed by a detailed list of the tasks to be carried out in summer, autumn, and winter. I would just cite the list for the spring as an example. If you would like to learn about the list for the other 3 seasons, please contact me by my email. Now, let's look at the list for spring. The east is where the sun rises. Its time is spring. It's qi wind. The wind brings the growth of trees and bones in animals. The season's virtue brings joy and openness, and it is the time for new life to emerge. Now, let me just explain what the term of a season's virtue means. The character used here is 得, literally means to rise or ascend. It is also used earlier as the word. So when it is related to the seasons, it refers to the dominant characteristic of the season. For instance, the dominant characteristic during the springtime is germination and growth. So to go along with this trend, all the activity should be to facilitate agriculture production. And that is exactly what is prescribed in the following part of this paragraph. During this season, the following orders ought to be issued. Clean and repair the shrines of the gods. Offer prayers to God to eliminate the rotten stuff and blockage. Take after the proper yang energy. Put the dams and dikes in order. Plow the field, plant the crops, and weed them. Fix the fords and bridges. Repair the canal and ditches. Mending the tiles and gutters on buildings. Resolve grievances and pardon crimes. And communicate with the four quarters of the state. Then the gentle wind and sweet rain will arrive. The 100 surnames will enjoy a long life. The various animals will thrive. This is the virtue of the spring. If the ruler implemented a policy suitable for winter during spring, things will wither away. If a policy suitable for autumn is implemented during spring, there will be frost. If a policy suitable for winter is implemented during the spring, things will suffer from exhaustion. So, during the 3 months of the spring, 5 policies should be issued on the first and second days of each month. Policy number 1. Sort out the young and orphaned ones so they can be assisted and pardon the criminals. Policy number 2. Grant titles. Award officials according to their ranks and positions. Policy number 3. Once the ice melted, repair the irrigation system and bury the dead bodies of people and animals. Policy number 4. Clear obstacles from mountain passes. Repair boundaries and borders. Straighten the path among the fields. Policy number 5. Prohibit the killing of young deer. When these 5 policies are implemented at the proper time, the spring rain will arrive. This paragraph starts by explaining the significance of the spring. The spring comes from the east, where the sun rises, that is, where the yang energy comes from, and that it brings new life. So, the most important thing to do is to clean the shrines of all gods and offer prayers to the god for a good year. However, praying to the gods does not guarantee a good year for the crops. So you would have to do a lot of practical things such as repair the irrigation system, plow the field, plant the crops, and weed them. Maybe the road and bridges were neglected during the long winter, so they needed to be repaired. The tiles and gutters might also need a fix in case it rains. And of course, you might need help from your neighbors for all the hard work during the planting and harvesting seasons. So you better resolve all the grievances with them. The same applies to the states. The rulers might want to repair their relationship with other states that they had conflicts during the past year. Some of these tasks were for the rulers, such as making offers and prayers to the gods. Others were for the people to carry out, such as all the repair works and the production works in the field. But the 5 policies are all for the ruler. The first 2 policies are there for the ruler to show his kindness and generosity, that he is acting in accordance with the kind and generosity shown by heaven and earth. The third and fourth policies are practical ones, that would prevent diseases and reduce danger and risk within the state. Burying the dead bodies would help to prevent diseases and repair the road would reduce the risk. However, Policy 3 also saw the harsh conditions of people living during this early time, that many people and animals died during the long harsh winter, and their bodies were exposed throughout the winter and could only be buried after the ice melted. And the last policy is also in accordance with the kindness and generosity of the heaven and earth. The belief that human activities should be aligned with cosmic rhythm were further articulated and systematized in the other legalist text, 吕氏春秋, or Master Li's Chronicle. The two texts of 管子 and 吕氏春秋 were later classified as legalist texts during the early Han Dynasty. This is probably because Guan Zhong, the politician the text named after, was the first politician to introduce a political reform during the spring and autumn period. Many of Guan Zhong's policies were later classified as legalist policies. 吕氏春秋 was also classified as a legalist text because it was sponsored by 吕不韦, a merchant turned into a politician who implemented many policies, which was later classified as legalist policies. 吕不韦, or Master Lu, was an extraordinary historical figure who practically raised the first emperor and helped him to build up the state of Qin, which eventually conquered all the other remaining states and founded the very first empire in the region, which we call China today. That is, the guy buried with the terracotta army in Xi'an. So I'm going to talk about Master Lu Buwei, the first emperor, and Master Li's Chronicle in my next video on philosophy. It should be a lot of fun. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos on classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, or medical literature. If you like the contents of these videos, please click the like button and subscribe my channel. I also offer one-to-one online lessons on these subjects. If you would like to read the original text with me, please contact me. Here's my email address. Otherwise, thanks for viewing my video, and I'll see you next time.